Well, this update of the Lyman Great Plains rifle is going to be all about getting the barrel browned. And at the end of the process, that's what we got, a nice brown barrel. So let's tell you how we got there. Though you're seeing this at a different time, this is happening at the same time as the stock is being sealed, because right now that stock's got to dry for a day while the sealer sets up. So I got some time, so I'm going to brown the barrel. And I'm going to be using Homer Dangler's cold browning solution. So, unlike the heat browning solution that we did on the furniture parts, this is just going to operate at room temperature. And it takes longer, but I find that it's a better way to go for doing large pieces like the barrel. So all I'm going to do is just give it a good coat with this solution. Just going to rub it down completely. And then I'm going to put it aside, and I'm basically going to let it rust, because that's what this solution does. Is it does a controlled rusting. Now before I put this on, I degreased the whole barrel with acetone, just like I did on the other parts. All right, and I am going to just stack this up, and then I'm going to go put it aside. Now it would be great to do this in the summertime when it's 90 degrees out and the dew point's like, 72, and I can just put it out on the back deck and let it rust up. But like most people who do this as a hobby, I do it in the winter when you can't get outdoors and go hunting or shooting. So I'm doing it right now, and the dew point is about 10. It's only about 20 degrees outside. So it's going to take a little bit longer. But I'm going to go set this aside now and let it start working. Here's a barrel after a day with the rust browning solution on it. What I'm going to do now is I've got a square of pretty stiff wool felt. I mean, you can use a stiff cloth, most anything. I wouldn't use steel wool at this point though, because you don't want to take the finish off. I'm going to card this rust off of it. And you can see the finish is kind of splotchy, but we're starting to get some brown color on there. So I'm going to card this whole thing off, and I'm then going to put another coat of the solution on it and let it go back to work. Alright, while I've got the barrel working, I'm going to just touch up the toe plate and the escutcheons with some cold brown. I'll put that aside. Try to get a little bit more color on them. Well, we've gone through 2 days of browning, and we've got a good layer of rust on the barrel, which is what I want. So now it's time to take it off and see what we've got. And to do that, I'm going to just card it. I'll put it in here to make it a little bit easier to work with. I'm going to card off the exterior rust, and I'm just going to use a piece of fairly stiff canvas to do it. You could use 4-0 steel wool, but at this point the finish under the rust is pretty fragile, and you can actually polish it back down to bare metal even with 4-0 steel wool. But with a rough cloth, you're not going to do any real damage. And all I want to do is get the surface rust off and get an idea of how I'm looking as far as the color goes underneath. Okay, so I got the barrel all scaled off, and I'm not entirely satisfied with the depth of color I've achieved. So you can see the butt plate here. I'd like to get it closer to that, which means I'm going to do it one more time. And this time I'm going to add a little more humidity into the mix, just to really help it get a good bite. I'm going to take it up to our bathroom, and I'm going to run the shower with some hot water for a while and let a little steam build up, keep the door closed, and then let it sit in there overnight for another night, and then I'll cart it off, and I think I'll probably be there by then. It's getting pretty close. So this is the 4th coat of the Homer Dangler rust browning, cold browning solution, and you know, it's looking pretty good. So right now I'm carting off the rust with a piece of whoops, pardon me, with a piece of oiled wool felt. It's heavy felt. It's the stuff I use to make revolver wads out of. And you can see the color's looking just about right now. So I think this is going to be my last coat. So I'm just going to card this rust off. And we'll take a look at the color, but I think we've got it. So I'm going to card this off, and then I'm going to take the next step to neutralize the acids and in the cold browning, and then I can cure it. Okay, so here it is with all the rust carted off of it, and so you can see I've got a really good brown color on it now. I'm quite happy with it. So I'm going to degrease it in acetone and take it upstairs, wash it off with baking soda and water just to neutralize everything, and then I'll be ready to cure it. I'll bring it back down here and do that. Alright, amazingly, I did this whole thing and the recorder was not running. I'm not going to do it again because this process is done. What I did is I just heated up the barrel with a propane torch to about 130, 150 degrees. And the way you can tell is when you can just feel that warmth coming off of it. So that it would just feel a little bit hot if you touch it, but not like burn your hand, you know. So once you feel that, then it's right. And the last step is just to go over it with regular motor oil. I'm using 5W30. I like to use a light oil, motor oil for that. But that gets into that hot metal, and it'll get in the pores, and it'll condition it, and it'll keep it from re-rusting, and it'll make that nice browning color we've got set. So this is going to stay here for another 24 hours and cure up, and when it's done, we're done with all the browning. After that, we can finish up the stock and put the gun together, and we will be good. Okay, everything is browned up now. Got all the small parts and the barrel all done. So this whole process takes about a week of elapsed time. Actual touch time is several hours, probably 5 or 6 hours of total touch time on this over the course of a week. So you can get a lot of other stuff done. And in fact, while I've been doing this, I've been finishing the stock. So that'll be the subject of the next video.